Day and welcome to News Extra. I'm your host, Joan Charfris. Thanks so much for tuning in. In today's show, I talk about Breaking Wave Theater Company and catch up with good friends CJ Ochoco, the president and founding member, and artistic director Joyce Torres on an upcoming production scheduled at the end of September, Unspoken Volume 3, Reaching Across. Here's more. Thank you so much, ladies, for taking the time out to sit down and chat with me, and welcome back to the island.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joan. It feels good to be back.
I know. I'm sure there are a lot of people that have missed you, especially with the pandemic and everything going on. So I'm sure that it's, I know you guys are here for Unspoken Volume 3, which we'll definitely be getting into in a bit. But it's also an opportunity for you guys to kind of recharge. And I know that it's been crazy on your end as well, stateside. So, but first things first, maybe for those that are unfamiliar with Breaking Wave Theater Company, CJ, would you be able to give us a background? I know we've done a few interviews about, but there's still some people that don't know the amazing work that the theater company does and its efforts. So could you kind of give us a background on the theater company?
Yeah, for sure. So Breaking Wave Theater Company, I think I like to say we're kind of the company that came to fill in the gaps, because Joyce and I and a lot of the founders of Breaking Wave, we all have been very involved with university theater and the other theater on island. But in 2018, we decided that while we were kind of figuring out our lives post-graduation from the UOG theater program, we knew we wanted to start something for those who were looking for kind of their next step. And so we founded Breaking Wave Theater Company as a community theater at heart, with the purpose of using theater for personal and social change, and also as a way to support the other arts and theaters that have already been going on the island. And so we are the only nonprofit theater company on Guam right now, and we do a lot of work specifically towards, again, personal and social change. So most of the time our shows are going to be original works, or they're going to be works that we are looking to engage the community with. And so, yeah, that's kind of who we are. We're just a group of UOG theater graduates and graduates, from other theater programs that have come together to just provide this extra space of community theater focused on reaching out to important topics.
And with every year that has passed, maybe a couple of those years have been affected by the pandemic, but have you seen Breaking Wave kind of gain momentum and kind of get more people involved? People are finding more and more information about the theater company and wanting to partake. It's an opportunity for them to express themselves in an outlet that maybe they didn't think was available.
Yeah, exactly. And even through the pandemic, we decided to continue with virtual programming. And in a way, this actually allowed us to expand our borders even more, because we ended up getting people who have connections to Guam, but maybe haven't lived here for years, or have never lived here, but they're Chamorro and part of the diaspora. They actually reached out to us in the pandemic and were like, hey, we see you're doing virtual programming. Since it's virtual, can I join you all? Can I hang out on Zoom and can we connect? And so it's been really amazing to see, through these difficult times, to see more people come and gravitate towards this space where, you're right, it's creativity and the ability to express themselves. And so it's been, of course, the pandemic has not been great at all, but it has been a little bit of a blessing to have that opportunity to connect with theater artists outside of Guam, but who are connected to Guam. So that's been amazing.
And I did say that I wanted to get into Unspoken Volume 3, Reaching Across, and what the theme kind of entails. But, when you were talking about taking Breaking Wave and, taking it on virtually, I know that Joyce, you kind of spearheaded these coffee chats, or if you will. Could you give a little bit of information on what those were, and I guess how it allowed people to participate and share their, I guess, what they were feeling?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like CJ said, it really is a strange blessing in disguise, right? Because at at the time, theater or the work that we do is so based or heavily based on one-on-one interaction or being in the same room. And so we kind of had to pivot on, right, how can we address things that people want to talk about, but also how can we find ways to connect on things that, aren't so deep about, like, in different topics, right? How can we just connect, period?
Don't go anywhere. More news extra when we return. And we're back. Unspoken Volume 3, Reaching Across, covers an array of topics from people of all ages. Joyce and CJ talk about it more.
So with the coffee chats, what was really interesting was that was birthed out of a, how can we take professionals and kind of talk without the pressure of, of everything having to be perfect, and can we just, have these same conversations we'd have in person, but on Zoom? And then what happens if we take, professionals that probably would have never kind of met in that way, or conversations we'd never really hear? And what happens if we let people kind of chime in live and have questions and ask people things? And like everyone else, we also had to reflect. So the coffee chat series was a nice way to get us to talk about what we do as professionals and what our thoughts are on certain things. And it really was just a nice way to kind of be back in our spaces and talking about what we love or what we're interested in, but within reason, within safety, and then also with the no pressure of, like, you have to be perfect. And it's like, no, we're having a cup of coffee, we're regular people just talking about life. And it's been really nice. I think it allowed us to really reflect and be appreciative of the work we get to do, but also kind of give people insight on what it is that we do, right? Like, what do we actually do, and how many elements within the theater there are that maybe people didn't have access to. So it's been weird, definitely, but I think it's, as human beings, we're always longing to connect and talk to one another and be in the same room. And it just so happens the virtual room was the next space for us to occupy. So it's been cool. I think we're all ready to be in the same room though, but what can we do? Until then, we'll just share our homemade.
After this quick timeout, we find out all the safety measures that they took to ensure the safe rehearsal of Unspoken Volume 3, Reaching Across. Keep it here. Day and welcome back. Now, if you're just joining us tonight, we are talking about Breaking Wave Theater Company's upcoming production of Unspoken Volume 3, Reaching Across. Here's more.
It was a really interesting summer. Most of our leadership team actually got trained in COVID compliance training for theater productions through some national partners, which was really cool, a cool opportunity for us to kind of learn the mitigation techniques. And so we actually went into we've been in in-person rehearsals with just a lot of safety measures in place. And we were really hoping for the in-person show, but of course, with the recent mandates on the limits of social gatherings, unfortunately, having a live audience kind of does count as a gathering. So we did have to pull the plug on having an in-person audience, but we are moving forward with recording the show. So it's a really nice change. At least instead of Zoom boxes, we're going to be able to use our social distancing and safety measures to be able to get people in and out of the space safely to record the show. So we're going to be providing still, kind of that theatrical experience of these are actors on a stage versus like actors on a film set, which I think should be fun for all of us involved and for the audience. And then we'll be able to send it out for streaming by the end of the month. Just because, we really wanted to keep the show within Suicide Prevention Month, not wanting to, take away from that. And so that's the reason why we just decided to go to the recording option, but we're really hoping it can still be a great experience for the audience members.
And I think of course, as much as people want to have that feeling of being there and watching it, you know, having it stream, it allows more people that weren't maybe, you know, having the opportunity to go watch it in person to view it. So, I mean, it's like, you know, it's a win-wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting too, because it's kind of nice because we get the interaction that I think a lot of the theater community was like needing, of, you know, wanting to work with each other. It has been really intense though. I will say, like the sanitizing, the, you know, all of it, like it's really, really intensive, but all, you know, for an abundance of caution, which is understandable. But it's kind of like the middle point of, you get to kind of, you know, things just are different when people are having or performing or having a conversation on stage in person. There's just something that's different that you don't really get via Zoom. So it's going to be strange. It's like, this is the first, it's theater, but it's like film for us, and we're dabbling in that. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be fun for people to watch, which is really great, because we intended on, right, it's kind of like, how can we make this really interesting for people that are watching it live to see? And then that's translating really nicely to film. And it's going to feature different types of storytelling. So we have, you know, poets and live musicians and you know, scenes and monologues. So it's this nice little mix that we kind of only get to have if people can be in the same room. Trying to record or rehearse as musicians in Zoom calls, it's not, it's like, we highly don't recommend that to anyone. But it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be nice for people to see, like, you know, the things that we used to do. Like, you're going to see sets and, or like stages and cool lighting effects and really great costumes and things like that. So we're excited. It's not what we wanted, but, you know, it wasn't completely taken away. So for that, we're extremely grateful that we still kind of get to work within, exactly, you know, within the safety and within the realm of what we kind of wanted.
Yeah.
So, and then it's reaching across, right?
Yes. Yeah, so this one was an interesting, right? It's multi-layered for us. So reaching across was this idea of, it's the first time we're going to get to reach across and actually like touch hands and be in the same room. So that was like a really big moment for us. And with the previous Unspokens, we've talked about, you know, these themes of mental health and suicide awareness and substance abuse, but now it kind of is like, how much deeper can we get within that space? Like, can we reach across you know, relationships, age, time, right? Different time periods. How can we reach across even the Pacific? What's really nice is the work that gets featured in this show this year. We, again, like CJ talked about, we get this opportunity to work with people that are in the diaspora, as well as people that just aren't even from Guam, that, right, that CJ and I were so grateful to be able to network now within the United States and meet different people. And even in the beginning stages of this whole process, we got to get people who have never been to Guam, never heard of Guam, get to kind of guest speak in like workshops for writers at the beginning of this process. So we really have reached across as much as we can to try to include as many voices and styles of storytelling. And so with this show, it's really nice because we have, you know, youth members that are in high school and kind of writing for the first time, and then we're going beyond that and we have seasoned writers. And so it's an effort to reach across and connect with one another in spaces and ways that we haven't done before, right? Like, how can we have conversations that probably wouldn't or couldn't happen in a literal and metaphoric sense, and see where that takes us within this space. And I think it's really beautiful. There are some themes that are within this show that we haven't tackled before. So, you know, it's a reach for us as well. So we're excited. It's a lot, but it's good, I think.
Yeah, and I think I'm really excited about reaching across too, because with our pieces, there's so much reaching across generations. And so, like Joyce says, we have youth writers, we have adult writers, we have, you know, older folks who have submitted pieces as well. And you see in the pieces just the idea of reaching across, because when we talk about mental health and substance abuse and suicide prevention on Guam, we know that it's not just like our age group or, it's across generations that we have to tackle these issues. And so we're really excited for the first time to really feature those stories and those voices of connection and
Yeah.
family, and how these important topics are affected by all of it, and how it's, it's a community issue, and it's a community thing where we have to come together to fight the stigma and to explore these topics. So yeah, in all of those words, that's what reaching across is to us at this time.
Coming up, details on how you can purchase tickets to support Breaking Wave Theater Company's upcoming production. Keep it here. Hafaday and welcome back. All show long, we have been talking about Breaking Wave Theater Company, what they've been up to, especially during this pandemic, and their upcoming production at the end of September, how fitting it is during Recovery Month and Suicide Prevention Month. It's Unspoken, Volume 3, Reaching Across. Here's more. What can people expect when they watch the stream?
Yeah, so it's one of those things where one of my favorite parts of the theater is, and storytelling within that space, is I think people kind of, or at least when I go to see a show, I really love kind of the ability to take people to different places and to really make things kind of magical and fantastical, but at the same time get really, right, it's theater, it's drama, so how can we highly dramatize these things? And I think when you get really cool lighting and transitions and music and all of that, when it comes together, it really is, it's a show about heavy topics, but just because it's sad doesn't mean it always has to look sad, right? It can be, for anyone that's experienced and or talked about mental health, it's a spectrum of emotion, right? You really happy days, really sad days. And so when people are watching that, and this show specifically, is we kind of want to play with that and make it be as visually interesting as we can. So I'm so excited for people to watch this, because they're going to we purposely want you to see that this is theatrically staged. So, before, right, we kind of want to hide transitions. We want to hide how things, what sets look like. In this version of the show, we kind of want to like take you in and let you see that, right, it's going to look really cool. And then you're going to see how the stage changes and how actors change and how multiple people are playing multiple roles. So visually it's going to be kind of fun. You're going to see because with COVID we had to kind of restrict the cast, but because of that, it opened us up to having people play multiple things and play with really cool costumes and lights. So it's unspoken, so it's definitely going to have moments, like I think definitely have, tissue if needed, but definitely I think people are gonna laugh and potentially see themselves, or potentially see, a variation of themselves or someone they know. I'm excited for people to finally get to see it.
CJ, did you want to chime in? Or did Joyce kind of cover up?
Yeah, I mean, Joyce covered all of it. She's our artistic director, so she definitely has her hand on the pulse in terms of what people can expect. But yeah, just building off of that, definitely an experience and, a time to explore and connect with these issues, from the comfort of your homes, and maybe start some conversations. We will have some resources available, of course, with these topics. Tough feelings can sometimes come out, and we definitely will have those resources, shared. So we're really excited to be able to reach across through the virtual platform and connect with you all in this way.
And I know you mentioned that you're aiming for the end of, by the end of September. Where can people, keep up to date with everything going on, when it's finally going to be, streaming? If there's something that, you're seeking out from the community, where's the best place that they can look for Breaking Wave Theater Company?
Yeah, for sure. So we're really excited, and I just have to plug them in, but we're excited because we're going to be partnering with guamtime.net to sell our tickets. And they're a new local ticketing agency. And so you can go over to guamtime.net, and tickets are available now. It'll be $10, but you actually get on demand streaming access. So you can purchase a ticket now, and from September 25 to the 30th, you will have access to watch the link as many times as possible. We are going to have a captioned version, a non-captioned version, and actually a version with an ASL interpreter on the screen. So that way we, give access to the communities. And so, yeah, we're super excited. Buy your tickets now, guamtime.net for September 25 to 30th. And you could follow us on BWTC Guam. And, as far as what the community can do, we're just really hoping everyone can take the time to watch or share, the wonderful stories that are going to be told in Unspoken.
And any last comments, ladies? If you're seeking, I know on Instagram you were seeking out recommendations as to where to get food.
Yeah, food recommendations, but also, well then, if we have time, I just want to shout out our sponsors too. Of course, KUAM, thank you for being our primary media sponsor. And then we have Bank Pacific, Alter Ego Entertainment, PDN, Tea Factory, Guam Regional Medical City, the Guam Economic Development Authority, JAMS Media, and our primary sponsor is Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, the folks doing the amazing work towards the mental health field. So thank you all.
Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to watching it, and I'm sure I'm just one of many that are looking forward to watching it. You guys always put on an amazing production, so we'll definitely be looking out for that. And I'm so glad that KUAM can be a part of it this year. And while you're here, I know that you are technically here to work and put on this production. But, I'm so glad that you're here to kind of recharge and spend some time with family and kind of recharge those batteries. And, we will definitely keep up to date with everything going on with Breaking Wave Theater Company.
Thank you so much, Joan.
Thank you.
Well, that's our program. Thank you so much for watching. Now, remember, if you want to know more information about Breaking Wave Theater Company, you can check out their website. That's bwtcguam.com. You can also follow them on Facebook and on Instagram, also BWTC Guam. And if you want to purchase tickets and support their upcoming production of Unspoken Volume 3 Reaching Across, you can head on over to guamtime.net. Until then, be safe and adios.